Last Saturday, the story of the 2022 gas explosion at the service station in Creastlaw in County Donegal that killed 10 people was featured in the weekend newspaper. The local community are divided over what should happen to the site. Grieving families argue it is sacred ground and must not be redeveloped. Tonight, Holy Saturday, we dwell on the central event of the Christian faith. While theology often presents the resurrection as a historical and doctrinal cornerstone, the mystics and spiritual writers invite us to encounter resurrection as a personal and ongoing experience. Monk Thomas Merton believed that resurrection is present in the silence of the monastery, the changing of the season, and the hidden movements of grace within the soul. For Merton, resurrection is the invitation to be transfigured, to participate in the divine life that now permeates all reality. It is a quiet revolution that begins within. He saw the resurrection as a mystery of light and love, breaking into the darkness of the human condition. The risen Christ is not simply out there, but dwells within the contemplative heart, drawing it into communion with God and with all living things. Merton often connected the resurrection to the hidden beauty of the world. To see with the eyes of resurrection is to see with compassion, to live gently, and to recognize the divine in all things. For spiritual writer Henry Nouwen, the resurrection was not only a divine act, but a deeply personal encounter with the God who brings light into the places of our pain. It is not triumphalist, but tender. He believed that resurrection is experienced every time we allow ourselves to be loved in our brokenness, every time we choose hope despite sorrow, and every time we witness new life emerge from pain. He saw the resurrection not as a dramatic reversal of suffering, but as the quiet assurance that love has the last word. Both Merton and Nouwen help us understand that resurrection is not a distant promise or a mere theological assertion. It is a living presence. It is the rising of hope where there was despair, the rising of compassion in a heart grown cold, the rising of God's life in our fragile human stories. To live the resurrection, in their view, is to become people of light, contemplative, vulnerable, open to grace, and ever attentive to the quiet ways Christ is alive in the world. Last Saturday's newspaper chatted with Anya Flanagan, who lost her 5-year-old daughter Shauna and her partner Robert in the explosion. Anya described bonds forged with other bereaved families, particularly a close relationship with Donna Harper, who lost her 14-year-old daughter Leona, as being a great solace. The article describes the pair hugging tightly, and then they welcome Christine Evans, who survived the blast. And Christine says, "We're the three amigos. We try to stick together as best we can." When I think of these friends binding together, I understand the words of Father Daniel O'Leary, who wrote when he was terminally ill, "We are not waiting for resurrection. We are already immersed in it, whenever we are loving, creating, forgiving, and hoping." The Holy Saturday liturgy reminds us that resurrection does not begin in clarity, but in darkness. It was still dark when the women went to the tomb. And it is in that very darkness that resurrection begins to stir. The tomb is empty. Isn't that how it often is with us? We come carrying our own shadows, grief, uncertainty, and wounds inflicted by life. Sometimes it feels like Easter is delayed. Sometimes it feels like we too search in the dark. But here's the good news. Resurrection doesn't wait for daylight. Christ rises while it is still dark. Luke's gospel declares that God is not in the past or the future, God is in the now. Every time we choose hope over despair or forgiveness over resentment, resurrection is happening within us. The resurrection is not only something we believe in, but something we live. Resurrection is not just an ancient miracle or a theological idea. It is a deeply personal, emotional, and spiritual journey. Those who've experienced it, whether through faith, healing, or transformation, often speak of being reborn, awakened, or made new. Their lives become quiet witnesses to the power of hope. Henry Nouwen poignantly captures this, explaining that the resurrection promises that what is lost can be found again, that what is broken can be made whole again. Encouraged by this insight, we seek to see with the eyes of resurrection and life beyond death. Amen.